But to be honest, if we're going to look at the fact that this is, let's look at the history of this payment of forms now, right from 1999. Is that really why we think there's corruption? Let's be honest. Do these people go into office and steal 55 million?
We can
is that what we're going to blame?
We can rule out the fact that many of them have invested heavily in the bid to contest and win some positions.
Because that's campaign finance,
not
financing. Forms. So the price of the forms, I'm saying, is
well,
that really?
It's factored in.
Really
it's a percentage. It's factored in. Now, don't forget that when they say this is how much it costs to get the form, do you have any idea what goes on behind the scene for that person to even get the form? It looks like it's an open process, and I can tell you it's not that open. I happen to be close to a few people who are contesting, and I know someone who is contesting for the next election who wants to be a member of the House of Rep, and I can tell you a bit of what he has gone through. There are people who are demanding money from him, not in Naira, in dollars.
Wow.
In dollars. To get their support.
So then how do you reform a process like that then?
Now,
without, I mean, this legislation is only going to sugarcoat it.
That's part of what we're saying. Now, the first thing is, I think that the legislative arm hasn't done enough job in putting the policies in place. If the legislative arm does enough job in weeding out the power from the people who have made themselves the cabals for you to get into the office, if I don't need to pay that much to anybody to get into the office, then I don't become bound to you. I don't have to look for all this money. You meet somebody who is like an influencer just to get into an office, and the person tells you to even start talking at all, go and bring 1 million. You have not bought the form. That's just to get an endorsement from the party. Then when you meet him, he'll not tell you there are 2 other people you need to talk to. I will be the one to talk to those people on your behalf, and whatever I tell them is what they accept. Those other influencers or the co-influencers then say, okay, my own is 5 million, my own is 2 million. Election has not started. Then they now say, come and pay 8 million naira for the position.
So how then do you reform that?
That's what I said. Legislature needs to revise the process, make sure. Then INEC actually needs to do its job. There's one role that INEC has already been empowered to do by the Constitution, which is to check how much you're spending on elections. The Constitution actually empowers INEC to check campaign funding, but INEC hasn't been doing that.
Let me say something.
And the parties are not even declaring how much they're spending.
Sorry, let me say something very quickly. When the last election in Ekiti State, there were older people who went to their pillows to bring their party registration document during the time of Awolowo, showing that they were paying dues, right? They were paying dues, and with that, they owned a part of the process, of the system. There was a time where public office holders had to spend about 10% of their annual salary as dues. There is a claim online right now by, something that that was said by the activist Falana, that even the current vice president and some of the party leaders in the APC have not paid their dues. Now that's alleged. I'm not saying that is it. I'm just saying it's online. How do we reform the process? The laws have been made. We must now begin to say that party members must pay dues. If you look, and then I need to say this to the APC, the PDP, and the big parties in Nigeria right now. What you are dealing with is that you are ignoring something very powerful. The more you ostracize yourself from the people, the more you keep yourself distant from our choice. Other people will stand up tomorrow and they will become attractive. As I speak to you, new political parties will emerge. And one day, we will ignore these big platforms and we will pursue our dreams. Nigerians will know. Because I don't understand how we as a people, what is the rationale? Do you need, so you need someone to pay 55 million. The last time we said it was too much because the president was complaining that he had to borrow money or they had to gather money to pay. Now, in his own time, it is now 55 million. What happened?
Is it not? I get your point, and I'm not. Don't think I'm disputing anything. I'm just trying to be clearer on what could be the argument for the
basis
other side.
for 55 million.
Yes, and besides, away from the nomination forms now, away from all the things we talked about, we run a very expensive form of government, and we are trying to be America. The American election is the most expensive in the world.
But it is transparent.
And there's a reason why. And I'm saying, even if we decide to be transparent, it's still going to be an expensive thing to do, whether you like it or not. Nigeria is very vast. Nigeria has over 200 million people now, like we hear. It's a federation. It's not a parliamentary system where you get elected from your county and you could be prime minister without the people. So how do you have a conversation about money and young people and trying to save money or not spend too much in a presidential system?
Here's what I propose. I've been thinking about it for a very long time. If we really want to have an inclusive government, which involves the young people, I think that we should fight for a law, and I put it to you because you're part of Not Too Young to Run campaign, that House of Rep should be strictly for the youths. Senate can be open to everybody, whether you're a youth or not. But let House of Rep be strictly for the youth, which means that the youths are definitely part of the government. Then we'll come on board with a law which prohibits any political party to sell nomination forms for anything more than ₦1 million. If we think that we're trying to do the gatekeeping process, and the way to do the gatekeeping is to increase the cost of nomination form, we're simply, like I said earlier, selling to the highest bidder. So the most effective way to work this thing out is legislature. So the legislature has to do their job. We have to go. We have to go. So I just want to quickly deviate from all of this, because I know they're not too young to run. We're involved with the Senate president recently now, and I think that there's supposed to be a series of events, right, with all the parties. I believe that was with the PDP. Is that still going to go on?
Absolutely, it's going to go on. It's going to go on. And
are you inviting other presidential aspirants from the other parties as well?
I mean, absolutely. And I think it's important. If you look at what we've done in Lagos a lot, we've worked across board. We've worked with the SDP, the APC, we're trying to talk to the PDP to come on board. The goal is for us to have young people elected. And I'm going to say this. The Not Too Young to Run is asking political parties to reserve slots for young people. We're demanding that House of Rep tickets should not be more than 400,000. House of Assembly like 200,000. If we have a young person who wants to run for governorship and all of that, we have a cap that we have submitted in terms of true demand. And once again, to Nigerians watching this, we did not know that the president of the Senate was coming to make a declaration on that day. And we have addressed the issue. We'll keep talking about it. The Not Too Young to Run remains non-partisan. It remains very true to its creed.
All right.
We are for Nigerian youth, and we will get it done.
Thank you very much, guys. You will definitely keep coming back here, because, I mean, it's political season, like I say, and this conversation is ongoing. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, too.
Please come back. We have some entertainment to talk about.